we understand what it's about.
Every time I touch the ball, I'm thinking I'm going to score.
And this is our chance to write our part of the story.
The wheels, ball, goes, touchdowns!
Like he looks like he wants to take someone's head off.
Oh, picked off! Into the mix! Dante McClellan!
When I got to college, there were a few things that I did not expect to happen. One, an app that could write my essays and write any homework I wanted to. Two, Elon Musk buying Twitter. And three, a top 10 ranked Vanderbilt football team. We're talking about it today here on the Tiger Kickoff Show. I'm Jacob Siciliano, joined alongside by Quentin Corpuel, Zach Sweet, Chase Jeems. Guys, Vandy, top 10. Quentin, what is your immediate impression of this matchup down in Nashville?
Whatever your preconceived notions about Vanderbilt football are, I kindly ask that you throw them in the trash can because they have played like a legit college football playoff caliber team. They aren't a cute story like they were last year. I said that on Monday. I'm going to say it again today. They're 6-1, just like Mizzou. And if they end the regular season 10-2, I think there's a really good chance they are in Atlanta and in a really good spot to compete in the college football playoff.
The year is 2025. The date is October 23rd. And Missouri and Vanderbilt is a college football playoff eliminator and College Gameday is going to Nashville? It's crazy.
Yeah.
And if you look at these teams statistically, they're very similar. You go down the line, and basically every statistic, they mirror each other. There's so much parity. They both play physical. I'm really excited for this matchup. It's going to be a blast.
I mean, do you guys remember freshman year homecoming with Vanderbilt and Mizzou?
That was one of the football games of all time.
Right. Like, this is a completely different ball game. I think Vanderbilt, this is a really strong team. I expect this game to be very close, and they do things very similar well. I think, you know, you really have to get this run game going, and you got to find a way to stop Diego Pavia the best way you can.
So Missouri will hit the road to Nashville for this game. We had a lot of concerns that we talked about last week traveling to Auburn. Are the same road concerns here in this matchup at Vanderbilt? Yeah,
I think it's a little different because Jordan-Hare Stadium and First Bank Stadium are two completely different atmospheres. But First Bank is going to be packed out. It's a sold-out game between two top 15 teams. I'm not sure it's going to be as ruckus just because there are literally not as many people that are able to fit in First Bank Stadium as there are Jordan-Hare, but it's going to be a rowdier road environment than most everyone has been used to compared to what has been in the past.
Yeah, the road game is definitely something to consider. And I don't want to talk so much from a Missouri perspective as I do an SEC perspective. SEC road teams over the past 2 years have struggled. SEC road teams playing back-to-back games in 2025, 0-3 already this year. It's tough to play on the road in general. It's even harder to play on the road back-to-back weeks. Missouri's up against the wall on this one, and I mean, it's definitely something to factor. Going on the road is not easy in college football. It's definitely not easy in the SEC. It's going to be a difficult place to play on Saturday.
Yeah, and you pair that with College Gameday. All the eyes are going to be on this game. I do think Mizzou fans are going to show out for this game. I think it's fairly close enough, and it's Nashville. It's a fun time. So I think a lot of Mizzou fans will be there, and it's going to be a tough road environment, but I don't expect it to be necessarily what Auburn was. I think Mizzou might have a little more help here with the fans.
You really love Auburn.
Oh yeah, don't I? Good one.
Well, despite what the environment is going to be, Drink has been the strong man against Vanderbilt. In his time as Missouri's head coach since 2022, he has not lost to the Commodores. He is undefeated and has outscored Vandy in that time 163-90. Missouri's last loss to Vanderbilt came in 2019 under Barry Odom. Quentin, you talked about it. You have to throw out all the Vandy teams that Missouri has faced in the past because this is something new. What happened to Vanderbilt? Why this year? What is going on with the Commodores?
Well, Clarkley has done an excellent job. The former Commodore who won 6 games across 3 seasons when he was their running back in the early 2000s has now taken Vanderbilt to 6 wins in a single season already, and we haven't even put up our Halloween decorations yet. Or maybe you have. I don't know. We're pretty close. But, I mean, we've seen just with the developments of NIL. Good for you, man. The NIL developments, the transfer portal developments, they have spread the wealth in college football. And we've seen it with not only Vanderbilt, but Mizzou as well. A lot of the star players and the key players in this game that's going to be played on Saturday have come via the transfer portal.
I mean, you can't not mention Diego Pavia, though. Diego Pavia is the storyline for Vanderbilt. This is a legitimate Heisman contender. And I repeat, if Vanderbilt beats Missouri this week, Diego Pavia could find himself on a very short list right next to another quarterback that beat Missouri, Ty Simpson, in that Heisman watch. But on top of that, this Vanderbilt team is super physical. They dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, rushing defense and rushing offense. Their running back, Cedric Alexander, has been awesome this year. Their rush defense, number 12 in the country. They're very physical. Missouri's going to have to step up their physicality if they want to match them, and I think that's going to be an area to watch on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of what you guys are saying. I think Clark Lee is a fantastic coach. Pavia is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And I actually think I saw a couple years ago they added a new athletic director. And I think just the school and program as a whole is more trying to win games with football, like compared to the past. And you're seeing that, and through the portal, they got a lot of veterans, a lot of returners from last year that have experience. So I just think it's a well-rounded team, and they have a lot more depth than they did last year. I think it's a big factor here.
Well, Pavia and that underdog mentality for Vanderbilt has them bringing a lot of national media attention in a game that they're favored in. Let's check out what the media's saying.
Joe, if I would have told you that Vanderbilt, Missouri would be a top team or top game in the SEC this year, you might have laughed. No, you wouldn't have, because you're not a casual.
The game day game, Missouri going to Vanderbilt, which I love that this game has college football playoff stakes, which it does.
Gabe, I ask you this first. Is it too early to call this a college football playoff eliminator game?
Sort of a loser leaves town match in terms of the SEC race.
Both two of the strongest teams in the conference at running the ball.
College Gameday will broadcast live from Nashville. It's the first time Vandy has hosted College Gameday since 2008. That is very impressive, by the way, to think what this game means to the college football landscape, to the college football playoff landscape. Could this serve as an elimination game in the college football playoff? Possibly.
Whole lot of talk surrounding these two teams, this game, at this point in the season, potentially looking at a game that could determine how the college football playoff works out. We know what Drinkwitz has to say, though, about national attention and the noise that is associated with big games like this. Let's hear what Coach Drink has to say on all this attention.
Eli, College Gameday is coming to a Mizzou game for the first time in 11 years. They've only covered Mizzou 6 times. I'm curious, does that amplify the stage itself at all? Or does that change anything in preparation or make the game even bigger?
Is it in First Bank Stadium?
I'm not sure where it is this week.
Doesn't affect anything then for us. We're the road team. So we'll show up, we'll go to the visitors' locker room, we'll walk out on the field and play the game. Whatever else they got for their fans there is up to them, but it doesn't affect us. I don't even think they want to talk to us.
So, Z, you asked the question there. Were you buying Drink's response to you?
Yeah, I definitely buy the response. I think he's definitely going to use this as motivation. You see all the hype around Diego Pavia and game day finally going to Nashville for the first time since 2008. Drinkwitz is totally going to play into all this noise for Vanderbilt and say, hey, look, guys, we're underdogs. Nobody's counting on us. Something to prove. The same mindset we've had the last 3 years. Nothing has changed here. He's going to use it, and I wouldn't be shocked if Missouri starts out fast. They use that noise, and they say, we're going to come in here and make a statement.
Yeah, as much as, Drinkwitz talks about like the outside noise and not paying attention to it. I do believe they try not to let it get to them. But at the same time, with all you're seeing right now, I think they're going to definitely use that as motivation. And I think we're going to see this Mizzou team come out immediately like angry and strong, and I think it's definitely motivation. There's no way around it.
Bulletin board material has fueled a lot of the SEC teams, even the best ones like Georgia a few years ago, who seemed to be convinced that the national media was thinking they were going to go 7-5 before they went roughshod on everybody in 2022. But again, it's bulletin board material. All of the national spotlight, or at least a lot of it, is on Vanderbilt, and that a lot of times seems to be enough for a lot of SEC teams, especially Mizzou.
They deserve it. Vanderbilt deserves to have that national praise, though, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, a lot of that praise is stemming from this guy, Diego Pavia. He has been a magician. Diego Pavia, the impeccable, who has gone out and bent the rules of eligibility and age to just keep playing college football and at the same time do it really well. 13-7 as Vandy's starting quarterback, and he's brought them to 10th in the AP poll for the first time since 1947. Guys, How do you stop this magic man?
Well, coincidentally, 1947 was Pavia's senior year of high school, which I think is, hey, good on him for bending the rules. And
you know the Tigers played him in 2022 with New Mexico State?
Yeah.
In the first year of Brady Cook starting
he's been around for a
Missouri's
while.
quarterback. Brady Cook in his first year played Diego Pavia.
I thought he got
playing the Tigers again now.
I thought he got a couple of extra years from fighting the Axis powers over in Europe. So good on him for continuing to play college football, but he is really, really good. We're going to talk about it, I think, in depth right here. I think he's way better than he was last season. I think he's a more complete quarterback. I think he is pound for pound one of the best improvisers in college football. He does a lot with his legs. He also does a lot more with his arm than I think he was last year.
Well, let's hear what Drinkwitz and the guys have to say about trying to stop Diego Pavia.
Yeah, great QB. You know, he's up for the Heisman. You know, we just got to execute, you know, do our job. That's the biggest thing. And just rally to the football. You know, it's hard to make a lot of guys miss when everyone's running to the football. So we just got to make sure we just execute our job, run to the football, and just do what we do.
I feel like they have a great offense. Pavia is a great quarterback. I feel like every team in the country want to have a quarterback like him just because he's a competitor. He's going to put his body on the line each and every snap and go out there and compete and, you know, go out there and get a win.
So we got a lot of weapons. He's another year into the system with the cohesion of that group. You know, he's a very headsy runner. He knows how to attack angles. He knows how to utilize pump fakes with the quarterback position. He knows how to eliminate angles, which is really just a savviness. He can get skinny, and he can lower his shoulder. I mean, he's got all the traits you want of a really tough physical runner.
You heard from Drink on the strengths of Diego Pavia, some of the guys on how to stop him. What do you say, Zach Sweet?
Yeah, just to compliment what Quentin was saying, Diego Pavia is impossible to get to the ground. It doesn't matter if you get pressure on him. He's only been sacked 5 times this year. He has 25 scrambles on his 77 rush attempts. Pavia does an incredible job of making defenders miss. What Missouri does well is containing mobile quarterbacks. They've done it this year against Jalen Daniels. They did it last week against Jackson Arnold. It's a really, really interesting matchup, and I'm excited to see how that plays out. Can Missouri contain Diego Pavia and not allow him to make those big plays with his feet that we've seen all year?
For your reference, 5 sacks all year for Pavia. The Tigers had 5 sacks in their last game against Auburn.
He's impossible to get to the ground. We'll see how it plays out on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, he's on another level. I think Mizzou's played dual threat quarterbacks very well this season, but this is a whole other task in itself. I do think if they're going to get pressure on him, it's actually got to come not on blitzes. I was looking at PFF. On blitzes, he's scored 12 of his 15 passing touchdowns. So if they're going to get pressure on it, it just needs to be by the guys. It doesn't need to be through blitzes. So that's going to be an important part. But yeah, this is definitely along with Simpson, these are the best quarterbacks they've played so far, and it's a lot for this defense to handle.
So Pavia is this magic man who's impossible to bring down, but the Tigers, they have contained quarterbacks this year. What does a successful contain of Diego Pavia look like?
Not being able, or I guess Pavia in this sense, him not being able to improvise. Drinkwitz referenced earlier this week a play, I believe, against LSU where he should have been sacked at least a couple of times, but then he got the ball out to a running back who wasn't even supposed to be an option in the first place. And so I think eliminating that improvisation aspect, forcing Pavia to throw, which he has done really well, just cutting off an excellent aspect of this game, I think will spell good news for Mizzou.
You're going to see a ton of quarterback spies deployed by Missouri, whether it's Josiah Trotter, Khalil Jacobs, even Santana Banner coming down and spying on Pavia. Just don't let him get out and make plays with his feet. You're going to see a lot of that on Saturday.
You were on the beat last year, Z. How would you see from the Tigers against Pavia last year? Do you think they learned anything from that game going into this year?
Yeah, that game was really interesting because it came in and we came into that matchup and Vanderbilt didn't have all the hype. Diego Pavia didn't have any hype at all. Nobody was really expecting Vanderbilt to play Missouri as close as they did, and they went into double overtime. We saw it. It was a thriller last year. Diego Pavia made Missouri's defense look foolish at times, and that was an awesome game to cover, but it's a lot different. He's a different quarterback this year. He has different weapons around him. They went and reinvested in the transfer portal. They brought in a lot of veterans. It's a different team this year, so you can learn a little bit, but you can learn a lot more from what he's shown the first 7 games this season.
Yeah, we could look back in the past at these one-score games that Vandy and Mizzou have had, but these two teams at this present moment are much different. So you could take some of what you saw last year, but I think you got to game plan a little bit differently. Pavia's just a different player.
Pavia has been unreal, putting up unreal numbers for a Vanderbilt team that has been very successful so far. Let's take a look at those numbers and how they stack against the Tigers. Over 1,700 rushing yards for the Tigers on this season, but in back-to-back weeks, the Tigers a season low in rushing yards in each game. Does that go to the offensive line? Let's hear from Coach Drinkwitz and he has to say about the big boys.
You know, they're zero. You got one or two options. You know, we checked protections. We had a protection bust on one in the third quarter that should have been easily picked up, and you know, you're going to have to throw off of somebody. But you know, we didn't do it. We executed a couple of times on that last drive. We executed it for the last third down conversion, but we got to do a better job in protection, making sure all 7 people are on the same page, and then quarterbacks and wide receivers have to execute. Throws have got to be accurate.
So we heard from Drinkwitz. We talked about the offensive line last week. Is the O-line an issue? Where is this breakdown happening for Missouri?
I think a lot of it, at least from the Auburn game, stemmed from Auburn loading up the box often and sending more pass rushers and run defenders than Mizzou was able to block. Auburn just simply had more manpower. This week, I'm really curious to see, at least in pass protection, I know we are talking about the run game here, but in pass protection, them being able to defend Vanderbilt, who blitzed Garrett Nussmeier last week on almost 60% of his dropbacks. That's a lot of dropbacks. Nussmeier was really good. He was able to handle it a lot of the time. Pabula last week wasn't as good at executing it. I think Mizzou is going to look more prepared for the blitz this time around. How they actually execute it is remained to be seen.
So you're not concerned about Missouri's offensive line just yet. It was more the scheme of Auburn that you think created those.
No, I think they saw something different compared to what they had seen in previous games. They get an opportunity this time around to correct that, which they hadn't gotten earlier in the season.
100%. And I think that's definitely going to be a big issue is that the offensive line. You just have to, after what we saw last week where Auburn got pressure constantly on the quarterback and they were throwing different blitzes at Bo Pabula. Sometimes he made flustered throws. We saw it. He threw 2 interceptions last week. The turnover battle is something I also want to touch on here, and I think the offensive line goes hand in hand with the turnover battle here because if you can keep Pabula protected, you can allow him to make better throws and take what the defense is giving him rather than forcing balls. Missouri this year is -2 in the turnover differential. Vanderbilt is +4. I'm really interested to see how that turnover margin looks at the end of this week.
Yeah, I think where the Mizzou offensive line might struggle is that non-blitz pressure rate. I think it's the highest in the country for Vanderbilt at 42%. So the blocking just has to be much better than it was last week against Auburn. But I do think this is a game that you can see the run game start to flourish a little more if they can manage that. I think this could be the comeback game for Ahmad Hardy.
That starts with the offensive line. Are you confident in this Missouri offensive line right now?
There's some issues. I think I would definitely like to see Connor Tollison play better this week. Last week he graded out below 50. I think it was one of his worst games as a Tiger. And you just have to see that improve as the center of the Missouri offensive line and the leader there. And just overall, I think you just have to be stronger and more physical on the block.
Well, we have a guy that spent his first 2 years of college shedding offensive linemen and trying to bring down guys just like Ahmad Hardy. That's Tyson Ellison. He gives us the breakdown in Sideline Study Hall.
College Gameday seeks out the best story of the week. To put on their show this week, they're interviewing Diego Pavia. You see him shirtless, walking down the field with the camera crew behind him. You don't interview Diego Pavia just to see him shirtless, no. You're hoping to see some of that Diego Pavia magic. This is what it looks like on the field. As you'll see here coming up on this play, you've got Alabama blitzing. They're going to bring pressure as you would on a talented quarterback. The problem with that is Diego Pavia is also a talented runner. This is a designed run play. He gets a block wide open, untouched after that first level of contact, makes an explosive play happen. He also can do that on a designed pass play. You can't leave him this much space in the secondary. Man coverage, which means guy attached to a receiver, guy attached to a receiver. Nobody in the center of the field. Pavia is going to see that too. A defensive lineman already pancaked on the ground. That's more than enough room for him to run through for a first down, gets down to the 1 yard line, creates points for Vanderbilt. The best thing that he's improved in his time in college so far, he is a very proficient passer in the pocket. This is his greatest improvement skill, and it adds another layer to what he's capable of on the field. Make something happen here with the wide receiver. So you can't just pressure, and you can't just sit back in zone coverage. He's going to dice you up either way. As an improviser, he's second to none. This should be a sack right here. Any other quarterback, that's a sack. Happens again. Any other quarterback tripping and falling, defensive end chasing behind him, that should be a guaranteed sack, but it's not here on this play. 4th down and 1, gets the ball out. This pass for 99% of receivers doesn't happen, but Coach Drinkwitz talked about it. Diego Pavia is a magician, and he makes those plays happen when they have to happen. Conversion on 4th down and 1. LSU loses this game to Vanderbilt. They can't find a way to beat Diego Pavia. Now let's put a name to this face in the secondary for Vanderbilt. This is Brian Longwell, the linebacker. Bo Pribula is going to see that face plenty. When they have to blitz in the A-gap, he's their guy. Drinkwitz also mentioned this week in press conferences, the running backs have to get better at their pass protection. This is the week to prove it, because if you don't block Brian Longwell, it's going to hurt your quarterback. Watch here again, A-gap blitz, just straight past the running back, hit right up to that high level. Pribula's gonna have to stand in that pocket and find a way to make these throws with pressure in his face. You're gonna get some contact in this game. But that's not the only thing to worry about with the Vanderbilt defense. They're very tricky. They're sneaky. They got multiple coverages and multiple looks they'll show you. Here, linebackers down at the line of scrimmage is going to bail, and the linebacker away from the line of scrimmage comes on a blitz. That's called a simulated pressure. You're only blitzing 4, but it looks like more people are coming. Ty Simpson was a great processor. He's able to find the holes in that zone. But even a talented quarterback like Lenore Sellers was getting tripped up by this defense. Here you see there's 5 at the line of scrimmage, but the defensive tackle is going to bail out on this play. Baits Lenore Sellers into the throw, and that's an interception by a defensive tackle. You never know who's blitzing and who's bailing, so you've got to be able to process what happens after the snap against Vanderbilt to be successful. You know Vanderbilt's going to be hype. It's their home stadium. It's College Game Day, but Vanderbilt has lost before. Mizzou knows this, and they're looking to make Diego Pavia make those mistakes when he's trying to improvise to win this game. Can they do it? Remains to be seen. Jacob, back to you.
Thanks, Tyson. Well, take it to the grave for us has been like the last 5 decades of Vanderbilt football. Just absolutely atrocious. Are you guys sick of this yet?
Not for all of us.
Well,
not for all
me,
of us.
I'm like 0-12.
So speak for yourself
point.
here. It's not the whole panel. Quentin and I over here are on a hot streak.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What's a hot streak? Two in a row?
I think I've gotten like 4 in my last 5.
It's been a few. It's been a few.
You know, Sweet, I'm glad you're getting your takes back on
Thank
track.
you.
Chase and I did not.
Yeah.
Here's the punishment tape from what Chase and I had to deal with.
My name is Chase James. I thought Brett Norford was going to score a touchdown on Saturday, but he clearly did not. So I'm getting slimed. You ready? Go ahead. All right. 3, 2. That is cold slime too.
Dang it, that got all over me.
Well, looks like I took some damage too. If I look like a leopard on the show today, you now know why.
For my punishment, I got t-shirt tossed, but we're changing things up. This means we're tossing shirts to you. Follow, like, comment on Instagram on this post, and you'll be entered for a chance to win a t-shirt. And you could be like this lucky teacher right here, Kelly Stanfield, and get a free t-shirt.
Thank you.
Of course. Easiest punishment ever. Chase, I'm sorry. I know we said it was slime, but the price of slime is ridiculous these days. We had to settle for water.
No, I get it. Inflation's a real problem. It's totally understandable. I was fine with the water. Didn't have to take a shower. I wasn't sticky. It was all good.
You would not believe the price of slime. And hey, for all of you back home too, if you want to enter in for that t-shirt, I got off easy this week. I need it, guys, okay? I need it. And we'll see that as we make our predictions this week. We're going light. We'll start with Quentin, though, and Quentin's prediction and take it to the grave this week.
Yeah, I haven't been too ambitious over these past few weeks. That might be why I've gotten a few of them right. I'm going to stay with a lack of ambition. Damon Wilson II, along with Zion Young, them two have been one of the best edge duos in the entire country, not just the SEC. Put me down for at least 2 TFLs for Damon Wilson, the man who sealed last week's win against Auburn with a takedown of Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid take. Those two have been awesome. I am going to stick with what's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, a wise man once said. And Ahmad Hardy has I know he might not have played great the last 2 weeks, but he definitely helped me with my ticket to the grave, scoring 2 touchdowns last week. I'm gonna go Ahmad Hardy over 89.5 rushing yards. I think Vanderbilt's run defense, while it ranks 12th nationally, might not be as strong as people are giving them credit for. They've played 3 SEC teams, Bama, LSU, and South Carolina, none of which rank higher than 100 in rushing offense. I like Missouri's run game to get going early, and I'm going to go Ahmad Hardy over 89.5 rushing yards.
All right, I'm going a little bit against Mizzou here. Diego Pavia has thrown at least 1 interception in the last 5 games, and I think that's going to continue in this game. I think he's going to play better than the previous couple games, but I still think these turnover issues are going to creep up again.
The pick streak lives on if you listen to Chase Jeems. It's going on a long time now. I decided to try to break that last week. Didn't work out for me. The last time I took rushing touchdowns, everybody, including Tavares Jones, got one, except Marquise Davis, who was my pick. I'm going rushing touchdowns again, but this time I'm keeping it generic. I've learned my lesson. Missouri gets 2 rushing touchdowns in this game. That's what we got for Take It to the Grave. Here's a look at this week's upcoming schedule as we get ready for another week of college football. We talked about it. This game has a lot of weight. Some people are saying it might even determine some of the college football playoff. Let's talk predictions. Let's talk implications, what this game means for the Tigers season going forward, and who's going to win it. We'll start with you, Quentin.
I don't think the loser of this game is eliminated from college football playoff contention, but their margin for error instead is eliminated. We talked about having 3 lives for each team. I would say at least in the Power 4, whoever loses this game will just have one of those lives taken away. I think with Vanderbilt, they have not seen a defensive line like Mizzou's. They have also not seen a rushing attack like Mizzou's, even though it struggled over the last couple of games. I think Mizzou finds a way to win this game in the final minutes, just like they did last week and just like they have so many times since 2023. Give me the Tigers 28-27, entering their second and final bye week, 7-1.
Yet another 1-possession game against Vanderbilt for the Tigers. Love to see it. MIZ.
Yeah, there's no secret here. This game is massive. I said it at the start of the show. I'll say it again. It's college football playoff eliminator, basically. Each of these teams plays 4 more games after this one. 2 of them are ranked teams. Very similar schedules. But if you drop this one, you got to run the table and go 4-0 in those games. So if you lose this one, you almost are losing out on the college football playoff in a sense. This is a massive game for both these teams. We've heard all the noise all week about how Missouri's not physical enough. Missouri hasn't played anyone yet. I'm going to take Missouri to go on the road and use that outside noise and get a 35-31 win.
2 MIZs. Chase?
All right, so Mizzou coming into this game, I mean, you look in the future, they got A&M and Oklahoma coming up. I think this is a really, really important game to win with these games coming up if you want to get in the college football playoff. And I think they have a lot of motivation coming into this game. And I think they're going to be able to run the ball the way they want to for the most part. I think the defense can do enough. So I'm going to have Mizzou 31-28. It's going to be very close.
Coming into this week, I had Vanderbilt actually taking away this ball game, but with all this outside noise, I think Drinkwitz going to channel it. He's been great in something to prove games. You remember Tennessee in 2023. I think we're going to see it. I'm the same as Chase. I got Missouri 31, Vanderbilt 28. That'll do it here at the Tiger Kickoff Show. Who would have thought Vanderbilt could be a signature win for the Tigers here in 2025? You can catch us following the game, covering everything you need to know Missouri-wise on Instagram, Twitter, wherever you can find us, TikTok even. And we thank you once again for watching this episode of the Tiger Kickoff Show.
I've ever seen. I don't know if it's just like the Nashville air gets me, but I'm like really excited. I gotta try it. Hold on, let's try it. It's a half-pound cookie.